All right, so I'm back here with the Vitara build on the Civic. This is part 4, so I've had the engine in the car for about a week now, getting it broken in. I've got about 200 miles on it and it's running great. So it's time to start installing some additional parts that are going to allow me to go from the 10 PSI I was previously running to hopefully around 18 or 20 PSI that I'd like to run on this new setup. So let's take a look at these parts. So right here we've got the Hondata 4-bar map sensor that reads higher boost pressure than the stock map sensor. Then I've got a 255 liter per hour fuel pump to go in the tank and an upgraded fuel filter as well. And then I also bought this Innovate PSB-1 gauge that does air fuel ratio. It's a wideband controller and it'll read vacuum and boost on the gauge as well, which is pretty cool. I've got a wideband in the car right now that's about 12 years old. Never had a gauge, just used the computer to data log. So I'll have a nice new wideband sensor, and then this is the map sensor that actually works with the gauge. There's a few other things I'm going to do too to make the jump from 10 to 20 PSI that I'll show as we kind of get further into it. All right, so this is what the gauge looks like all set up and running. You can see I've got air fuel, I've got vacuum or boost down here, and I can switch those in the gauge if I want to. If I had hooked up the tach signal, which I didn't, this would be my shift light here. It's working really well. You can see 15.1, 15.2, and then I've got that input to the ECU, so I'm seeing that air fuel ratio on my tuning software as well. So I've got the new map sensor bolted on the intake here of the throttle body, Hondata 4-bar. I did have a little trouble getting that set up. I had the wrong settings, offset settings in the tuning software, and I couldn't get the car started for a minute. Ended up flooding it out and having to change the oil again because of that, but now it's set up, and I actually hooked my boost controller back up. I just have these zip tied here right now. I need to make a nice bracket for those. I plumbed this. It used to be normally closed. I plumbed it to normally open this time, and the car's running on 14 pounds right now, and it feels awesome. It breaks them loose in second gear every time. But I want to do a few other things before turning the boost up closer to 18 to 20 pounds. And so now we're going to head over to my friend Brett's shop, fabrication shop, and go do a little bit more work. All right, so I just made it over to FenFab. This is my friend Brett's shop. There's Dave. Dave, wave at the camera. Don't yell. This is Brett. He's the owner of FenFab.
How's it going?
Hey. He's got a bunch of cars here right now that he's working on. So we are going to pull the front bumper off the Civic and take a look at the intercooler piping, because when I put this car together, I just cut the pipes and I didn't bead roll them or anything. So Brett's got a bead roller that we can use on the straight parts, and then whenever I have a cut that's on a bend in the pipe, we're just going to take and do some tacks and tack weld some nipples around the bends. That way it gives the intercooler coupler something to bite onto. And then what Brett's looking at right now is he's going to fab up a little catch can for me, because right now I'm just dumping these PCV hoses down in the engine bay. So we're trying to figure out where we want to mount this catch can. So yeah, we're gonna get to work. All right, so I have all the charge pipes taken off here, and what you see is, like this pipe, for example, has a factory bead right there, and then to get it to fit, I cut it on this side, so there's no bead on this edge like there is there. So that's what we're trying to do, is get a bead on everything. So some of them already have beads, but a lot of these don't. So we're gonna work to get beads on them. Brett's kind of doing me a favor here. Usually he would be building like an entire charge pipe kit like he did on this Explorer ST. He does really awesome work. He builds these charge pipe kits from scratch and then powder coats them. But if I was really committed to this engine platform, I might have him build something nice for me, but for now we're just gonna work with what's here. All right, Dave. So you just cut that pipe flush on the bandsaw, right? Because you got to have a square edge.
Square edge
to
so
do the bead
nice
roller.
Clean bead. Get your bead clamped down a little bit. Skip it out.
Oh, that's cool, man. Is this how you guys do all the? You guys roll your own beads on all the intercooler pipes that you make?
All our intercooler pipes are rolled by hand in-house, sir.
Cool.
And you don't have to go too extreme. It's not like we're running big boost here.
Yeah, go to the 20 psi setting on the bead roller.
Do a little extra just because you never know for when you want to have fun.
Yeah.
There we go, sir.
Well, if we race today and I lose, we got to turn the boost
up.
up.
That happens. Nice, clean, even bead all the way around.
That's really cool. I like that.
Don't worry about the coupler coming off.
Yeah. Check these pipes out. We actually managed to get beads on every single one of these. Even the ones I was worried about, like this one where it's really close to the curve, we got a bead on there too. So every pipe is beaded now. So I'm really happy about that. So I'm trying to put this, put the charge pipes back on the car, get that back together. What's going on with this catch can, Brett?
Well, unlike most of your eBay catch cans, we're going to add a quick little baffle in here. So we'll drill a hole, put this on the back side, like so. And you'll have your fitting here, and this will actually help disperse the oil in the air. So when it goes to your turbo inlet, you're not breathing in a bunch of oil.
Dude, that's awesome. Really excited about that.
Speed here shortly.
All right. So this is the room where Brett's got his kind of material handling. So he's got his CNC plasma, Bridgeport over here, sander, got a couple band saws. This one he does his pie cuts on, so he makes some really cool bends with pie cuts. You see here is a intercooler piping setup that he built. He does a lot of cool stuff here, so I'll put a link to his business's website in the description, and check him out if you're in Southeast Michigan and you need some fab work, or check his website out because he sells a lot of cool stuff on his website too. All right, so let's look at this catch can. Oh, that is so cool. That fits really good right there.
We got all the room. Bolt and the actually should be pretty easy to run your lines to.
Yeah, that'll be really really easy to run the lines to. So the inlet, see if we can see that baffle.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, you can see that baffle in the inlet. I don't know if you can see it on the camera here. and then he welded this side. This is the outlet, so he welded that one higher, so oil will have a harder time getting up out of there. And then we took the intake elbow that sits down here, the inlet to the turbo, and welded a fitting on there. So I'll be running this catch can. That's why the catch can doesn't have a filter on it. I'll be running this catch can back into the inlet of the engine, just because I really don't want to get any kind of oil smell in the car or under the hood. So I did a little tour of the kind of machine room in there too, and told the people what you can do here, and I told them I'd put a link to your website in the video. So dude,
sounds good to me, man.
I really appreciate it, dude.
No problem at all.
Thank
You know where to go.
so much.
Hey,
yeah,
you know I love what we do, so
I know.
Hey, I'm just glad it turned out.
You're a Honda guy at heart, even though you drive a CTSV right now. So
no, I mean, I can't get rid of them. I still got my little red one in the corner.
Yeah, this is Brett's Honda right here too. So
doesn't get much attention.
Yeah. All right, cool, man. We'll see you next time.
Next time it is.
All right, so I just got back from Brett's, and I am so happy with the work that he did over there and Dave did over there. This catch can is so cool. I still got to get some fittings for it, but really happy about that, and then really happy about the intercooler piping. Some of the last things to really kind of legitimize this build a little bit. All right, so I think it'll be easier to show what I'm doing with this catch can setup off the car. It'll be kind of hard to see in the car. This is the oil separator box for the PCV system, and usually there's a PCV valve right here. This is not the box I'm using. The one I'm using is still in the car. But I got 1/2-inch inner diameter hose and bought 1/2-inch barbed fittings for everything. I was a little bummed out because this 1/2-inch to 1/2-inch is pretty hard to find, and my plan was just to replace the PCV valve with that, but it didn't fit real tight in there. So what I ended up doing, I actually just bought a new grommet for this, hoping it would be a tighter fit, and it's going to be a way tighter fit, hopefully not too tight. So I got the catch can installed here. You can see the valve cover line comes over here, tees in, and this line goes down to the black box in that fitting I showed earlier. And then this line comes to the inlet, and then the outlet is going down and around there to that pre-turbo inlet. So that's all plumbed, and it's time to go drive the car. All right, so I've got some good news and bad news about the car here. The good news is I've been driving this car a lot, and I've got about 1,200 miles on the engine rebuild, and it's running great. I'm really liking the way that it's performing. The bad news is that I can't get this car to make more than 14 pounds of boost, maybe 15. I've got that 5 PSI wastegate spring in the wastegate actuator, and I've messed around with my electronic boost control solenoid MAC valve as much as I can. I can get boost to spike really high to 20, but I can't get it to actually hold. So I've actually already bought a aftermarket wastegate actuator with swappable springs, and I've been messing with it a ton, and I still can't get it to work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this video here with some success about the parts that were installed, and then I will pick up the next video and show you what I've been doing trying to get this boost under control and running consistently at the levels that I want. So I will catch you next time.